The protagonist, a single dad named Jack Mercer, is introduced, a commercial airline pilot, raising his daughter Emma alone. We see his routine, his dreams, and a mysterious call sign he uses, Ghost Rider. The chapter ends with his commercial flight being diverted in a storm, forcing him to prove his skill and calm presence. After the diversion, Jack receives an unexpected offer. The U.S. Air Force wants to brief their top-secret F-22 Raptors about a civilian pilot whose mastery in the storm caught their attention. Jack wrestles with whether he can leave his civilian life, his daughter, and step into an unknown world of supersonic jets and aerial combat protocols. Jack goes through training, meets F-22 pilots, earns respect. Meanwhile, Emma struggles with her dad's long absences and changing identity. Jack juggles fatherhood and transformation. A mission arises, a real threat, where the F-22 team has to intercept a rogue aircraft. Jack's civilian instincts and fatherly heart become unexpectedly assets. On the mission day, the F-22 squadron, flying behind Ghost Rider, scramble. Jack coordinates from the cockpit, his calm voice over the radio guiding maneuvers. Amid turbulency, literal and metaphorically, he keeps the team together. Emma watches via video link. Her hero is both pilot and father. The rogue aircraft is intercepted. Ghost Rider's radio call sign becomes legend. In the aftermath, Jack returns to civilian life changed. He's still a commercial pilot and full-time dad, but the Air Force and F-22 squadron honor him. Emma understands the dual life of her dad. The story closes with Jack and Emma walking near the runway, the sunset casting a jet silhouette overhead, a Ghost Rider still soaring. Captain Jack Mercer was a commercial airline pilot and a single father whose entire world revolved around his little daughter, Emma. Every morning before dawn, he kissed her forehead, whispered a promise to return, and left for the airport with a photo of her tucked in his jacket pocket. The call sign on his flight plan always read Ghost Rider, a nickname Emma had given him because, as she said, he always came back no matter how far he flew. That day began like any other routine checks, a calm sky, passengers boarding with coffee cups and sleepy smiles. But above the Rockies, the weather turned without warning. Clouds thickened, lightning flared, and turbulence slammed through the aircraft. Alarms chirped and passengers gasped, but Jack's hand stayed steady on the controls, voice calm over the intercom as he guided the jet through chaos. "Ride it, don't fight it," he told his first officer, easing the plane between pressure waves, trusting the machine and his instincts. When they finally broke through into a halo of sunlight, the storm spread below them like an angry ocean. The passengers never knew how close it had been, but the story of the calm pilot who brought them home safely began to spread. 2 days later, Jack got a call from the United States Air Force. Major Caldwell explained that F-22 training pilots had heard a civilian call sign Ghost Rider on the open frequency during that storm and wanted to meet the man behind the voice. Jack was surprised he wasn't a soldier, just a dad doing his job, but the major insisted he had something their fighter pilots could learn: how to stay human inside the storm. Jack eventually agreed to visit the base. At Edwards Air Force Base, he met the young pilots whose faces carried a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Caldwell introduced him as Captain Jack Mercer, call sign Ghost Rider, and silence filled the hangar. Jack didn't lecture them about machinery or tactics. He talked about breathing through fear, about flying with purpose, about how panic kills faster than wind shear. "If you trust the sky," he said, "it'll show you the way out." The pilots began to listen, and before long they called him Coach Ghost. Meanwhile, back home, Emma struggled with her father's absences. She tried to be brave, drawing pictures of jets and video calling him every night, but she missed him fiercely. Jack promised her that he wasn't fighting wars, only teaching others to come home safely, just like he always did for her. Then, one morning at the base, an alarm went off. An unidentified aircraft had crossed into restricted airspace, unresponsive to radio calls, heading toward a major city. The F-22 squadron scrambled, and Major Caldwell turned to Jack. "You know turbulence better than anyone. We need your voice in their ears." Minutes later, Jack was in a command jet, headset on, watching radar blips streak across the sky. "This is Ghost Rider," he said calmly. "Trust your instruments, breathe, and stay gentle on the throttle. The pilots followed his steady guidance through violent crosswinds, intercepting a rogue experimental drone without a single shot fired. Over the comms came the words that would change everything. "Ghost Rider, you're one of us now." When Jack returned home, Emma met him at the door holding a drawing of 5 jets flying in formation, one marked Ghost Rider. She had heard about his help with the Air Force. He lifted her high and laughed, promising that no matter how far he flew, she would always be his co-pilot. News stories spread online about the civilian pilot who guided F-22s to a peaceful resolution, but Jack never saw himself as a hero. He was just a father who believed in calm, courage, and coming home. Months later, he returned to commercial flights, occasionally consulting for the Air Force. On a routine trip from Seattle to Denver, he heard a voice on the radio. "Ghost Rider 452. This is Raptor O'Neill still flying steady, Coach." Jack smiled and replied, "Copy that, Raptor 1. Keep the blue side up." His co-pilot looked at him curiously, and he just said, "Old friends." As the sun rose over the clouds, painting the sky in gold, Jack thought of Emma waking up back home, looking for contrails in the morning light. He whispered, "See you soon, kiddo." At that moment, everything in his life, a pilot, teacher, father, fit perfectly together. The legend of Ghost Rider wasn't about speed or glory, it was about love that never lands, courage that never wavers, and a man who learned that the greatest mission of all was always making it home.